started performing in front of people probably around the age of 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7, around that time. My father was a preacher here in Austin, Texas. And I wanted to lead songs at church, and we had a Church of Christ where we sang all a cappella music. So that was a start, and I got into marching band in high school and stuff like that. Then I went to college on a music scholarship and was part of a 12-piece vocal jazz ensemble. But I never thought that music would be my career or anything like that. The story is more like I got really into poetry. I was working at Icon, and across the street there was this place called The Hideout. And there was this young lady named Bevan Karif-Shaw. And so, I'd be tired from work, so sometimes, I'd fall asleep on the couch at the coffee shop while they're doing the poetry. And so one time she caught me asleep and she was like, "Wake up, you need to do some poetry. You need to get up here and do some poetry." And so I got up and I did some poetry, and everybody tripped out. She was like, "Oh, you're gonna be my feature next week." So I met this guy named Eric Teixeira at that point, and he was a acoustic guitar player. And we just clicked really well. And I did my feature at the poetry reading with him backing me up. And recorded a live CD. Nice. And then we went to Kerrville Folk Festival, and we sold out of all our CDs at the Folk Festival. I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. We took off to the West Coast, and we traveled up and down the West Coast doing poetry readings. We went to Rainbow Gathering. I did that for about 4 or 5 months, and then we came back to Austin and started a band called Diasport. And from there, it just took off. I did Diasport for probably about 7 years. We had 2 EPs and 1 full-length album. Nice. It was a mix between punk rock, soul, hip hop, jazz. So being in Diasport, I became a part of a community, which is more like hip hop, what we would call Texas hip hop soul community here in Austin. I started expanding my understanding of performing on stage, performing in the studio. And then in 2014, we started Butter and Jam. And I got a call from a good friend of mine who was with D Madness and I in the D Madness project. His name is Dave Manley. And he calls me, he's like, "Yo, there's this new place over here off of 12th and Chacon, and they're looking for soul music. They're looking for." I'm like, "All right, cool." So that night I come out over here on 12th and Chacon, and I go to Desert Street and I meet Mady DeStefano, and she's like, "Yo, I want to do, what does Austin need?" And Dave tells her, "Austin needs a vibe night." I didn't even know what a vibe night was really. We improvise with each other, we jam, but I never heard it presented that way. So he goes to explain to me, like, in Philly and New York, like back when the neo soul movement was happening, Questlove and the cats from the Roots, with D'Angelo, Badu, Music Soul Child, and the Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def, like they formed this huge family, and they all were like, yeah, let's try to create that kind of space here in Austin. And so we started Butter and Jam vibe sessions. What it did is we kind of created a nexus that at one point in time, everybody that does soul and R&B and Texas soul R&B type thing, they've come through there and we've all gelled together, we've all meshed. It became a community. we created moments where we were like extremely feeling this like euphoria. Yeah, it was euphoric.
CJ is something else, man. He's a phenomenon. Well, we do hope that whoever purchases the bar next like keeps Butter and Jam and like keeps the whole vibe of this place going. But the owner's gonna try something new with life. You know what I mean?
It's a sad but a good situation because it was a start and it was an ending for Dozen Street, but it was a beginning for CJ and the band.
I guess what's really different about it for me is just the authenticity of the energy that everybody has in the room. It's just really good vibes. I hate to keep saying good vibes, but like that's literally what it is. Just the energy in the room, like you might come in here having a bad day, or you might have had a bad day and then come here and you know you're going to be elevated when you leave.
This was one of the first places that was recommended to me by Jackie Benson. Was like, if you want to see an open jam, if you want to see an experience, a vibe of people that like, yeah, people will come on stage, but like it's like, yeah. And the first time I came here, man, I was like, you damn right.
A lot of the stuff that y'all hear is just improv. So everything that was played tonight or whatever that y'all heard, they come up with that stuff on the spot. So like if they want to like switch up a song, it's off the whim of just like one musician and then everybody just follow through. That's the like rarest thing that's happening here in Austin is just the authentic, real, coming from the soul kind of shit.
On this night, we all get to come together. It's unrehearsed, you know what I'm saying? It's like a night of release, musically, you know what I'm saying, emotionally, whatever, spiritually. Like we just all come together and just let it go. I think we'll take a little break, regroup, you know what I'm saying, and then pick a few venues to get friendly with, kind of around the city. Kind of go visit other sides of town, you know what I'm saying? We've been on the east side, you know, since we started. I think it's an opportunity to see what else is out there for the night, see what other type of demographics we can attract, you know what I'm saying? Like this night is a culture in itself, you know what I'm saying? It's just a mix of everybody. And it's, you know, it's just about love, life, and sharing, you know what I'm saying? Being able to share good vibes. And I think that can be experienced anywhere around the town.
If I can say anything that has happened is the community that's come out of it and the response of you know, that feeling where sometimes there's that void inside of you, and at least for that moment, that void got filled. That's, you know, that's
the best way to explain Butter and Jam. All of the things, all of the problems, all of the worries, all of the debt, all of the relationship drama that may be going on, you forget about it for those few hours.
Right.
And you are just completely taken to a different level of existing, and everyone is just, there's no fights breaking out, there's nobody acting like they're too good. Everyone is just showing love.
I discovered my abilities to lead. That was a big move for me creatively, because like I said, I've always been kind of an assertive kind of person when it comes to music, but I've never really taken that role on as being like the go-to guy. If there's anything that I've done as a human being, if I brought joy to your life, or if I brought happiness, or if I brought some type of sense that, hey, yo, we're all here together. If I brought that to this world, then all glory be to the Most High, and all the mistakes have been mine. You know, but I being a channel to be that kind of, to bring that to somebody, I'm not going to even say I'm proud of that. I'm most joyous about that. I've been, you know, whatever you're going through, just stand up. Or if you got to sit down, it's going to pass. Everything passes. I mean, you have cycles. You have cycles in life. You're going to have hard times. Cry. Go into whatever feeling you're feeling and feel the whole thing. You feel joyous, feel that joy. When you get sad, go through that sad. When you feel grief because you lost something, feel the grief. Go through the whole thing. When you're angry, feel the anger. Like, don't suppress any of it. Just let it be. And that way, the next time you step into the next thing, you can be truly you. You can be totally you. It's a hard thing to do. I'm not saying it's a hard thing to do, but what happens when we try to suppress it, we use other things to nullify it, like drugs, like alcohol, abusing other people. We do things because we have emotions that we don't know how to process. It comes out in the wrong way, and the cycle keeps on continuing. And that's my evolution. And if that's my evolution, then that's the whole world's evolution, because we're all in this together. Like, it's a small little planet, a small little place that we're in this huge universe, and all we know is us. All we can comprehend is us. So if that's the case, and we understand how small we are, we're just a little grain of sand in the universe. Let's take care of this little grain of sand then.
Reggie Kobe was around that time too?
Reggie Kobe had been there since the beginning.
Okay.
But he was just a spectator. He would come and see.
Okay.
And he would come and see us play.
But the drink is fine. You can bring the drink in the shot. I like the drink in the shot. I think it makes it look more.
So I gotta give us some
Yeah.
How we met.
How? And he said he's just gonna take over.
He's gonna take the story.
Taking the long-winded
He was taking the long-winded way. He brought my name up. That's not important. We met. We used to record at the studio, DJ Protege Studio. Shout out DJ Protege. He's still out here doing his thing.
Yeah, he is.
So shout out. And we had mutual friends. We still friends to this day. And we just used to go to the same studio. We had mutual friend circles. I was new here. I moved here at the end of 1997.
Where'd you move from?
Atlanta. At the
okay.
time, but so these were the first kind of guys that I met that I kind of reverberated with. We didn't really like each other. Well, he didn't like me at first. He say that. He didn't like me. We started just to kind of vibe, and we just kept running into
How'd y'all
each other.
vibe? What was the song that y'all would sing back then?
We didn't sing.
We didn't even sing shit back then. Yeah.
He was rapping and I was rapping.
Oh, you were rapping?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody.
So we rapped a lot together and smoked a lot of weed together. But, yeah. So we just became
You ain't supposed to
friends.
be telling people how to smoke weed now.
That was then, nigga.
Oh, yeah.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago we used to smoke
We
weed.
used to smoke weed. So I was just a fan. I'm a fan of his. I would just go up there on Wednesdays and get drunk and have fun and heckle him and just talk loud to him and try to make him uncomfortable and make him laugh while he was on stage. Sometimes if he couldn't make it, he would call me in and be like, "Hey man, could you do this shit?" After like a year of me yelling at him and him forcing me to
get up on stage.
Having the audience heckle me.
I think the first time was when I went out on a tour with Picklefish.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was gone for like a month, something like that.
About 2 months.
Something like that.
So you started filling in.
Yeah.
So so you would stand in and.
Then everybody hit me up saying, well, you might as well not come back because Reggie took your slot, man. I was like, man, how y'all gonna talk to me like that, man?
Did anybody think y'all were related?
Nah.
No.
Shady.
Okay.
Yeah. We just got the 5 o'clock shadows. It was 12:30 then, Hold up. The first person to ask to come sing for another person was you. You asked me to come sing on the league.
Oh, yeah,
joint.
you did. Well,
cool.
That's a whole nother, I'm a part of a rap conglomerate called the League of Extraordinary G's. This is a big 8-member group.
Wow, okay.
Wu-Tang.
The Wu-Tang of Austin.
It's not always a pretty picture, but it is beautiful. It is beautiful. League shit. My nigga riding around with 100 years worth of time in his backpack. Ain't thinking about no rhyme or no ass cap check. What show money? Bitch, this dope money. And God bless his soul that tried to take his dope from him. I was never much of a trapper myself. Sit out on the steps and conversate while fiends got they dope from him. No frontin', couldn't get a dime for 9. Fucked up, but still up with the roosters rise and shine.
I got back and I guess somewhere in like 2006, 17, I got really disenchanted with, not with Butter and Jam in itself, but how my situation that was going on at that time. So So I told Reggie, hey man, you got this, man. You host this thing. And so he did for like.
When you said you got this, you hosted.
Yeah.
Did you mean I'm done? I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I was like, I'd rather come and just be a fan and like jump. Yeah, as opposed to like being right. Facilitating. And that lasted for like maybe 2 months, and then we talked. We were like, man, just do the shit with me. And like, let's do it together. And we're like, boom.
So you brought him back, Reggie?
He didn't want to leave. He just needed
I needed a break.
A break, and I didn't want it to go away.
Yeah.
Because I was a fan, you know what I'm saying? And I knew all he needed was a break. You have to keep going.
Yeah.
If you stop, you will never. It is impossible for you to get there if you stop. So what you must not do is stop. You gotta be honest with yourself. You gotta be a little crazy and a little and you gotta be prepared to lose. You have to be prepared to lose.
Gotta be prepared
And if you lose, you have to be what? Okay with it?
Try again. I mean, shit. If I like to listen to or watch the biographies of successful people who've made it that I like admire. I like to hear them tell their stories. One of my favorite guys is Dick Gregory. You know, it's like a hero of mine. You know, I just read his book, his first book, and just like him failing and losing his club and losing his son. At any one of those moments he could have quit. But if he quit, then at any one of those moments, which he'll tell you he wanted to. Losing a child. And you're not there because you out doing this, will
it'll mess you up.
Right. But he kept going. So what I would say is keep going. There's gonna be shit. It's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. If it was gonna work perfect, then then all of this shit would be a fairy tale. So you gotta keep chopping and just go, it's not gonna be easy. I'm sorry, dog. It ain't. That's not how this works.
He's just saying that because he got to meet Stevie Wonder. There's this picture of Reggie standing next to Stevie Wonder. He like to. Yeah, he's like, I'm not here right now. These are not the droids you're looking for.
It's crazy. I'm Stevie Wonder, my favorite artist. Why you bring that up?
I just wanted to bring it up. It just popped in my head.
Yeah, that did. When I'm growing up, I don't believe in that. Like, oh, you got anxiety, nigga, what's wrong with you? Like, chill out, smoke some, drink, like straight up. So I never forget the only time that in my life that I've had an anxiety attack, like a panic attack. And just like the terror and like oh shit, this is real. And I had to do some self-evaluation at that point in my life and look at myself and and that's when I learned about mental health. Like, mental health is like your physical health. If you're eating bullshit all the time, then your body's not gonna have the optimum output. You know what I'm saying? Now, you could push your body to get up and go to work and do all the things that you needed to do, but you're not gonna get the best out of it. I was just in a bad place. I was not happy with myself. I wasn't being honest with myself, and I really think that's a big thing, is honesty and culpability, because all this is about choices. Sometimes we dig ourselves in a hole. I had a homie call me today, like, man, I feel so bad. I've dug myself in this hole, and I don't know if I can get out. And like, that's a scary place to be. When I was growing up, we didn't tell people we loved them all the time. I tell all of my friends I love them every time I leave them, because you don't know. You don't know what somebody is going through. So that's how I think it has become more relevant. It's more socially acceptable to talk about. They talk about black people not seeking psychiatric help. But, and in a way that's true, but we're getting there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having more honest and open conversations about this.
So this is kind of pseudo-scientific, but I feel like I'm an empath, and I can feel, and I've honed this throughout the years since I was a kid. But I feel like I take on people's stuff sometimes, and people gravitate towards me in that level, and then I internalize what's going on in it, or even just what's happening in the world, like when somebody, like Kobe passing, or like with shootings of young black males. by police officers, I end up internalizing stuff like that. And what that ends up doing is I end up piling up all this crap inside of me, you know what I mean? And not finding usually music and is my outlet, you know, and being able to, I can go out there and get on stage, I can yell. You know what I'm saying? Like, not too many people get to do that. But when I don't find myself in that position and I cut myself off from the people I know that can help me because I just because number one, I don't want to be a burden on nobody else and stuff like that. So yeah, there's this feeling of utter despair, man. It's an emptiness. And I know people that suffer from depression. I've had, the past 2 years, I had my friend, he passed away. He drank himself to death. And I don't know what he was going through, you know what I mean? I have no idea what he was going through. And one thing I can say, whatever you're feeling, anybody out there, whatever you're feeling, feel that. Feel it, don't turn away from it. Because that's some piece of advice I know I can give, is don't turn away from whatever you're feeling. Actually go ahead and feel it and go through that. And as you're going through it, try to meditate. And when I mean meditate, I mean meditation just means being aware of everything around you. So that's why a lot of times you close your eyes when you meditate. Meditation is a good thing to try to get into. I would say everybody should try. And playing with a dog.
Hi, my name is Navy DiStefano, and I am the owner of Dozen Street, a music venue in Austin, Texas.
Me. I appreciate it. Thanks for, sitting down and having a chat with me. I kind of wanted to just talk with you about your journey with mental health and, Dozen Street, the music venue / bar / music place, home of Butter and Jam, and just kind of get your story, really.
Well, my mental health story, I'll try to make it brief. My mother is bipolar, and I grew up with her being overly medicated on lithium and other drugs, and I was similarly diagnosed. We called it manic depression then, but I refused to take medication because I had seen my mother on extreme amounts of medication. They used to prescribe a whole lot of lithium. Now when they prescribe it, it's just tiny traces. But anyway, so I refused to do that because I was making a living as an artist.
Right.
And as a creative,
you didn't want to dole you out and
I was like, oh, it's gonna ruin me, you know. And I was starting to make a name as a playwright and a director and an actor. I was in graduate school, and I started having some really, really dark episodes, suicidal, to the point where it just made sense to me that everything would be better if I just wasn't around anymore. It just made, and once that started making sense to me, that's when I knew I needed to get help, that this was a problem. So eventually I tried Wellbutrin, and immediately I feel like I came up out of a fog. Instead of feeling like I went on a drug, I felt like I came off of this terrible drug I had been on. And I suddenly felt normal and whole and real again. I was like, oh my God. And then that year was probably still to this day the most successful year as an artist.
Welcome to the Live Arts Festival and Ability Friends. We want to thank PNC Bank for sponsoring the festival, and David and Linda Glickstein for sponsoring this show. What are you laughing about already? We ain't even started yet. Well, now that you're 18, I could get you a job with me down at the club. Yeah, I know. You've been telling me that ever since my boobies came in. Time to go. She thinks she'll find the world by the end of the show. Well, hand the fork to baby doll, cause fucking we ain't gonna eat it all. From Spotsylvania, Kentucky to Metro City. We gonna have some Frito pie, we'll spoon it up, bye-bye. We're gonna eat us some beans till we fart.
I was nominated for 3 Barrymore Awards. Those are like Tonys or Jeffs for the Philadelphia area. You know, Philadelphia Magazine's Theater Artist of the Year, and like all this stuff, tons and tons of press. And it was all the year I got medicated. So it really dispelled for me, you know, the myth that when artists get medicated, they cease to be artists. And I like to share that story because it makes me so sad when people don't get the help they need because they're scared it's gonna hurt their creative, you know, the artistry.
When did you come to Austin? Like, when did you move?
I moved to Austin a little over 6 years ago, so fall of 2013.
Okay, all right. And when you arrived, did you already know that you wanted to, like, you know, run?
So,
what's the story?
I ran a nonprofit arts organization in Philly for 20 years. So I thought I would come here and open a neighborhood bar and make money and hire a manager to run it, and then I was gonna like travel around the country. That was my plan 6 years ago.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna get this going, and then
I realized, wow, I'm still in nonprofit arts. So I realized, largely because of the neighborhood, that people wouldn't come to Dozen Street unless I had events going on. So I started booking more and more and more because it's Austin, it was mostly music. And Butter and Jam was like week 1, week 2.
Wow.
After we opened.
So what would you like tell someone watching in regards to like your journey with mental health? And they may be needing some help or like needing someone that they can identify to who's been there, who's been through the worst of it, and who is now managing it and doing okay.
First of all, I would say don't stop trying to make it better. I had first person I went to was a psychiatrist at Temple University because I was a graduate student, and that was, you know, a free resource for me.
Yeah.
And he asked me if I had thoughts of hurting myself or other people, and I said, yes, I do. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, well, we'll meet again in 2 weeks. And I was like, if I'm alive, right? So I was like, that is not okay. And I went to see someone else, and eventually, now I don't recommend just taking medication that your friend has, but that's how I came into Wellbutrin. As a friend of mine had been prescribed it for quitting smoking. And he said, well, if you're gonna kill yourself anyway, it's not gonna hurt you to try Wellbutrin, so give it a shot. And he said, it's supposed to take 2 weeks before you feel any effects. And I didn't think it was gonna do anything for me, but I just took it. And day 3, I was like, whoa, I feel way better. And then I went and found a psychiatrist to prescribe it for me, and also to help me figure out what my cocktail was going to be, because I had to take Trileptal, to take the speed edge off of the Wellbutrin so that I didn't go into mania, because I had manic episodes that were just as dangerous as the depressive episodes. So, and then that made me too tired, and you know, it took about 2 years to find the cocktail that worked for me, medication cocktail, and I still adjust it. Sometimes I'm not sleeping, I'm getting too speedy or something else, and I talk to my psychiatrist and we adjust my medication. So you're always first thing I would say is don't stop fixing it. Like keep on it, you know. And if you don't like the answer someone's giving you, go see someone else, because they might be wrong.
It's
right?
Advice,
like if it doesn't feel right to you, and you know yourself, like trust yourself too. I really think that's important.
What are your next endeavors? What's the next chapter for Miss Gemini? Ever changing?
Well, the sale of the bar, the final paperwork hasn't gone through, and so until that happens, I still feel kind of like tied down. So assuming that goes through, I think I'm gonna finally buy a van and travel around the country. Everything has changed since I've been on lockdown. I ordered some shit from Amazon. I moved out of my other house where I had roommates, including CJ and Amy Lane and Miriam and Francis and Richie and Jess, all the other people that lived there short term. Gave up that lease to the landlord, Eureka Holdings or 12th Street Management, who also own the property 1808 East 12th, that is where Dozen Street was. So I've now relocated my life to this address where I built this house, and I have since adapted it to be a 2-person, 2-dog, 1-cat house. And then I'll have a new safe little compound for the 5 of us beings. But ultimately, I'm planning on hitting the road. So I asked, no, well, kind of. Billy Buck is a really amazing poster artist that does a lot of rock and roll posters in Austin. And Sarah has been part of the rock and roll community forever. She was, in fact, CJ's known her. They went to the same high school. CJ's known her a really long time, and she used to be the manager at Hole in the Wall. And then she was at Dozen Street. So she's been part of the rock and roll community for a really long time, but no one has posters of her because she wasn't in a band, right? So I asked Billy Buck the day after she died if she would make a poster for her, and I sent her a bunch of pictures, and I said it should look like, it should have a Lisa Frank background, you know, the notebooks from high school or junior high, you know, and I described what I thought would be cool, and then Billy Buck made this poster, and I think it's really cool.
My name is Daryl Gordon. I own a Big Easy Bar and Grill, 1806 East 12th Street, Austin, Texas, East Side. Big Easy Bar and Grill. Every hour on an hour, they come out the pot. My name is Daryl Gordon. I'm the owner of Big Easy Bar and Grill. I've been in Austin, Texas, maybe around 13, 14 years. I come by the way of Hurricane Katrina. In Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, I also had a restaurant and bar. It was named Wendy's Bar and Grill. We down there, we done live music, served New Orleans cuisine, Cajun food, of course. So when I came to Austin, the only thing I knew was Cajun food. So the only thing I knew was to do what I knew how to do, and that was open up a restaurant to sell food and open up a live venue where music can come in. And I got this place and I got it open and we got the stage up. The only thing I could think of, just like live music every night, you know, different genres of music, not just jazz, or not just, I didn't want to be that blues club. I wanted to be that club where people want to come to the Big Easy and jam out. Of course, New Orleans, you know, we got to keep the New Orleans thing going. That's why you see all the Mardi Gras beads and everything, because we clearly represent New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm the chief of the Mardi Gras Indian tribe, the Young Navajos. Wow. That's our tradition down in New Orleans. We dress up as Mardi Gras Indians and pay our respect back to the Native Indians every Mardi Gras. Every year we do East Side Kings Blues Show. And it's done by a guy by the name of Eddie. He put the show on. It's a big show, so we take up all the clubs up and down 12th Street, around the corner, all the parking lots. He put a blues band in there. And it starts from like 12, it's like a 4-day festival. It starts from like 12 to 9, and we fly people in from Europe, from all over the world to come and perform. been there like 3-4 years, so that's a fun time here at the Big Easy. A lot of them come here. So we serve food 6 days a week. We open Tuesday through Sunday. We open for lunch from 11 a.m. to 11 at night during the week, and Friday and Saturdays we go to 1 o'clock.
So I'm hearing some like cultural preservation. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And it's not only, it's two cultures that you're preserving at this point, because you brought the culture from New Orleans,
Right.
and you're also preserving the culture of the East Side of Austin now.
Right.
So now you got two like really important factors going on there.
Yeah, because community mean everything. You know what I mean? A lot of things come and go, but you should have a community where you can bring your grandkids, and your grandkids can bring their grandkids and say, hey, this way Papa is, or this way, you know, and that's slowly going away on the East Side. And it's sad to say, but I'm trying to keep it together, let people know, hey, 40 Club still here, Big Easy. We still here, come out and party with us, and they got all the old musicians that's actually from the East Side, and they just love coming to play here because this way they really started out playing. My whole thing is with life is like just that little thing that's inside of you, keep telling you to do it. You know, that's God. And you just have to have faith, and you got to believe in yourself. Everybody have that little thing inside of them. You know, cooking was my little thing. You know, and singing was one of your things. It's one of your things, but everybody has something inside of them, and you have to believe in yourself. You know, don't follow the world, because the world is made for different people, different avenues. But God got His own avenue for you. So just believe in yourself and have faith in God, and just stay true to whatever you do. Stick to it, and that way you'll be great within yourself. And everybody follows something great. And so that's what I have for young people. Just stay prayed up and stay focused and stay out of trouble. You know, and you'll be okay.
I'm Nick.
I'm Paige.
I'm Ashlyn.
And we are the Reverend Few. Just leave it to me. Don't ever be ashamed. Pacing down the hallway, cursing out His name, and I could.
I've been stalking you.
Yeah.
I caught some of your show at Saxon Pub. Was it last week?
Last Friday.
Last Friday, so it's been like a week. And I, was really intrigued by y'all's sound and your music and everything. I got a copy of your CD that you let me have, and it was the live recording at Antone's.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful music. I was like, okay, I got to get your story. So thank you guys so much for meeting with me. And I guess I'll just start off by asking, what does, music and mental health mean for you?
I think for all of us collectively, music is kind of the vehicle that has led us and intertwined us all together to kind of work out some things that are tough in life.
Yeah.
And it's been a way, just a means of expression and meditation. And I don't think that any of us ever made a conscious decision of this is how we're going to get through it, but it's always been there with ease.
Yeah.
Which is really important. So, yeah. What about for you, Nick? I mean, I'm kind of speaking for all of us, I guess. But
Yeah, we've individually we've gone through some pretty heavy things in life, and the hardest thing to accept is that both life goes on, but so does the emotional center of how it affects you. And most people don't know how to they haven't figured out how to express that or handle that within their daily routine.
Yeah.
And the arts are a way to fully try to embody that concept in your life. You go out and see a show, and there's a catharsis in it. Sometimes it's exciting, you're happy, you're sad. And people talk about this a lot, but they don't talk about how it actually affects you
And for me, performing a song that embodies all the emotions that I don't have anywhere else in my life to put, that they come out through the song. And so, like, to play a song or to listen to a song and really emote through it, it puts me in a place where I can actually emote through that, and I can let go the things that I go, there's nowhere else in my life. I can't put this. If you have a day job, you can't put it there. No. You can't put it in your home life.
No. Yeah.
Where do you put this this heavy weight that you're usually carrying around? And for me, music was the place to do that. And I found that you can do that for a living and help others do the same thing.
Yeah. So how did y'all meet, and what inspired y'all's coming together and having this chemistry that we all feel at this table here?
So Nick and I met in Chicago in 2011. I was putting my band together. I needed a guitar player, and his name was passed my way by a really good friend. And I remember the first message he had sent, and we were supposed to get together a couple times, and he kept saying, I'll get to those songs. My dad, I just found out my dad's sick, and I didn't know what that meant. And in due time, I found out that his dad had ALS. And so we started playing together in 2011, and it was like spring of 2012, we decided to move to Texas to be closer. His whole family had uprooted to Dallas, and we decided to make a move to Texas, to Austin. Shortly after his dad passed, my mom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and within a year's time, she had passed.
Wow.
So I traveled back a lot to take care of her, and it was the greatest reward that I never expected in my life, to take care of her in that capacity. And those things teach you a lot about how to love somebody and how to be patient and knowing how to kind of end those chapters so it doesn't feel like such a hollow wound. And we were able to do those things for our parents and kind of close those chapters of our life. And then people always go how will I ever come back from that? And it's you just will, man. We're meant to survive, and we don't commiserate. We celebrate our parents. If we miss them, I wrap myself in my mom's sweater and I make her lasagna or whatever. And we'll watch Japanese fighting movies. When we miss his dad, silly little celebrations.
Your music, from what you're explaining, sounds like it's blues mixed with inspiration, mixed with some gospel. Did I nail it?
That's pretty right on.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe dab a rock and
rock
roll in there.
Elements in there?
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you break through a paper wall? Oh, when something's tugging at your sleeve. I'll get you home. Sing something that you know should be. Why can't you love me?
But because you have people around you that support you, that have been through similar things, they hold you up. I mean, this girl, she's smiling the whole time.
Oh, I can't help it. Oh man, I have a major resting bitch face.
Tell me about
with these guys. I'm never mad.
She's always smiling.
So, tell me what your experience has been like. It's been almost a year you've been playing with him as their drummer, and what's that been like for you, Ashley?
Oh, it has been amazing. So I moved here from Fort Worth, and I cut ties from everybody in Fort Worth. I was gigging all the time and playing in these little dive bars with all these little bands, and finally I was just I need to do something with my life and just leave. And so I left and I came here, and I was basically silent for 2 months, and nothing was happening, and I was like, oh, this is a mistake. What did I just do? I don't know.
We all have that feeling.
Yeah,
to Austin, by the way.
I don't know anybody. So I was just on Facebook like crazy, just on all these Austin musician pages, and that's actually how I found these guys, friend of a friend, and it's been the best thing ever. I've been wanting a band that I can connect with for so long, and it never happened until I moved here and made it happen. And I mean, still playing with these guys, I catch myself tearing up sometimes because and such, yeah, like it's just amazing.
Like it all came together, like finally, like really.
It's the missing puzzle piece.
I think the thing to remember when you're feeling down in life, wherever you are in that place, is that you have wonderful people around you that are constantly rooting for you. And the more you can stay connected to yourself in song, in life, in friendship, and you allow space to digest what's happened so that you can heal. And through that healing process, like remain open to your surroundings, to people, and allow yourself to be vulnerable, because there's strength in vulnerability, even when you feel like you're at your weakest point. If you can just open yourself up, you'll get through it. You'll get to the other side of that.
And when you do come across those situations, it's important to listen to others. Like, find people that you trust, that you know, that you can tell your story to. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be sad. We're constantly told that we're supposed to be happy all the time. Why are you not happy? You should be happy. But it's a part of life and existence to be sad and experience that and know what that's like. And being sad in a moment doesn't mean that you're a miserable person. You're just sad in a moment. You know, and especially through music, you get to be whatever that song calls for in that moment, and you get to craft that moment. And you can exist in that for that time. And then when that time is over, you are allowed to let go of all those things within that moment. And then you get to move on from that. And you can revisit that moment as many times as you have to feel better about whatever you need to feel better about. And you get to experience it through that and be there. And then when you come back, you get to come back to center, come back to who you are and where you really are. And it's a place to put all those emotions where you don't know where they belong. So you create a space to put them there, to belong there, so that you can come back and exist in the world as it is, and as you experience people and find people that care about you and want to experience the world with you, and that love you and want to support, because those people are there, and sometimes you're just going to kind of keep your eyes open to notice them.
In my experience, I know that, losing somebody is by far the most difficult thing that you can go through. And whether you have friends or not, there's always going to be somebody that's going through the same thing, and that's going to be there to help you through it. And there's support groups, and there's, open jams to go to, and that's how you meet people that are going through the same thing. And I think that's one way that you should definitely do that.
Told he would never amount to nothing. They told him, boy, stop all that fronting. He ended turning nothing into something. He still through all their masking, now he knows. They've been weighed, measured, and they've been found wanting. But no metaphor can explain it. No cage you hold can contain it. No catchphrase or cliches, talking about keeping it real. No law you can control it. Through space and time you can fold it. It just comes to you raw, and maybe then you will fail. And this is the life that I've chosen. Said this is the